Celtics fans, welcome into Celtics Today. I am Will Scott, and on today's show, it's going to be all about finding a backup center for the Boston Celtics. I'm going to list 5 options, guys that are still available in NBA free agency. But first, turn on your notifications and type Noti Gang down in the chat for a chance to earn a shout-out on a future show. That's the competition this month at Chat Sports. Whoever gets the most subscribers to turn on notifications. If you're not subscribed, go down and subscribe right now. Hit that big red sub button. So let's break down the Celtics roster right now. Obviously, they shipped a lot of guys to Indiana in that Malcolm Brodgon trade. So the Celtics right now have 7 guards on their roster. Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Malcolm Brodgon, Derek White. Obviously, Brown kind of a forward as well. Celtics guards continuing the list. Peyton Pritchard, J.D. Davison. You drafted Davison in the second round of the draft. And then Broderick Thomas. He is on a 2-way deal. Moving on to the Celtics forwards. Jason Tatum, Grant Williams, Al Horford, and Sam Hauser. The Celtics right now just have 2 centers on their roster. That is Robert Williams III and Luke Cornett. Cornett re-signing with the C's on a 2-year deal, but I don't know if he's good enough to be in the rotation, be the backup center to Robert Williams III. So I think the Celtics need a backup center badly. They swung and missed on Thomas Bryant. He signed with the Lakers. So luckily, though, there are still a couple guys to pursue in free agency, and we begin talking about LaMarcus Aldridge. There are going to be some big names that we talk about on today's show. Aldridge is one of those guys, and it's crazy because he retired before the 2021-2022 season due to an irregular heartbeat. However, he was medically cleared, came out of retirement, returned to the Nets the next season, and here is what he did in Brooklyn last season. Was incredibly solid, exceeded expectations in 47 games played, nearly 13 points per game, 55% field goal percentage, was certainly one of the bright spots for the Nets in a disappointing season. When you're talking about bringing Aldridge in, I think it makes sense for both sides. You're the Celtics, you need a backup center really badly, and if you're Aldridge at this point in your career, I think you're willing to take a pay cut and go play for a contender, try to win a ring. I think it makes a lot of sense for Aldridge to come to Boston. Now, do you want to sign LaMarcus Aldridge? Type S for sign or type P for pass down in the comments section. It's the pinned comment on today's video. When ad break comes, go down and let me know what you think. Should the C's bring in LaMarcus Aldridge? Someone else that's still available. Boogie Cousins. DeMarcus Cousins still out there in free agency. I told you we'd be talking about some big names on today's show. Now, Boogie is aging. He is now 31 years old, but he could still be a valuable option off the bench. However, when you're talking about maybe bringing this guy in, there are injury concerns that come along with him. Just played in 31 games last season for the Nuggets. 9 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, 5.6, 1.5 assists per game, shot 46% from the floor. Kind of a liability on defense as well. I have mixed feelings about bringing Cousins in. However, you do need a backup center, and he is out there and available. So is Moses Brown, and this might be the most intriguing player that we're talking about today because he is very young, and a lot of people don't know about this guy. He's just 22 years old, signed as an undrafted free agent out of UCLA in 2019. He showed some flashes with the Thunder in 2021 and 2020 that season, 8.6 points per game, nearly 9 rebounds per game. He was waived by Dallas after the Porzingis trade, ended up getting picked up by the Cleveland Cavaliers, where he played in 14 games for them last season. Here's what he did in Dallas and Cleveland. 4.3 points per game, 3.4 rebounds per game. So didn't have quite the same production that he did in OKC. Here's what Yahoo Sports said about the C's perhaps signing Moses Brown. Moses Brown a reunion, anyone? The 7'2" big man came to Boston along with Al Horford in the Kemba Walker trade last June, but the Celtics dealt him to the Dallas Mavericks later in the offseason to acquire Josh Richardson. Brown was inconsistent last season, but flashed some upside with the Oklahoma City Thunder in 2020 and 2021 and could be worth a low-cost flyer. I think he might be worth giving a shot to, bringing this guy in, seeing what he can do. What I like about him is, maybe more than some of the other options, is he's young. LaMarcus Aldridge, Boogie Cousins, some older guys. Brown is still 22. He's still developing into a pretty solid player. I would not mind bringing him in. However, there might be other options out there that might fit what the C's are looking to do a little bit better. Now, if you love the C's, go down and like this video. Hit that thumbs up icon. The more likes we get, the more people come across our channel, and we're trying to grow the channel here on Celtics Today. We have about 2,000 new subscribers in the last month. We appreciate your support. Another way to show your support is hitting that thumbs up icon and liking today's video. Here is our fourth option, and it is Blake Griffin. Yes, you heard that right. Yahoo Sports suggested maybe bringing this guy in. Now, yeah, he's not the explosive player he once was, right, when he was with the Clippers, but he has adjusted to his bench role. That's what he was last season in Brooklyn, coming off the bench. Here's what Yahoo said about potentially bringing Griffin in. The Celtics reportedly were on Griffin's short list before he signed with the Nets in 2020. He's in the twilight of his career and probably wouldn't play more than 15 minutes per night, but he could provide the occasional spark off the bench, as he provided in Game 3 of Brooklyn's first-round playoff series with Boston, when he scored 8 points in 8 minutes. Now, Griffin would be a lot of fun, but is he the best option? He's more of a forward than a center. I was a little bit surprised to see Yahoo suggesting that the Celtics bring him in to be the backup center. He kind of plays the 4. He can't play the 5, but he definitely plays the 4 a little bit better. Now, do you want to sign Blake Griffin? Type Y for yes or type N for no down in the comments section. They brought him in. I'd be pretty excited. Someone else who I'd be excited about is Hassan Whiteside. He is still out there for you to get. Yeah, this guy's kind of fallen off after he was a star in Miami, but he is still a very solid option in free agency. Here is what he did for Utah last season. Spent 2020, the season prior, with the Kings. Here's what he did with the Jazz. 8.2 points per game, 7.6 rebounds per game, over 1.5 blocks per game, and then shot 65% from the floor. We talked about, maybe some of the other guys being a liability on defense. That is not the case with Whiteside. He is a shot-blocking machine, has been that his entire career, played on the vet minimum last year in Utah, so he would probably do that again in Boston, playing for a contender. He would be a very, very cheap option, and he was the backup center last year for the Jazz, averaging 17.9 minutes per game. So it's not like he hasn't been in a backup role before. He was that in Utah. He would be that again in Boston behind Robert Williams III. Out of all 5 of these options, I prefer Hassan Whiteside because he can score and he is not a liability defensively. Quite the opposite. He is a very, very good defender, a great shot blocker. I think he would fit this Celtics team really well. Celtics arguably the top defensive team in the league. Whiteside would fit like a glove. Now, do you want to sign Hassan Whiteside? If not, who do you want to sign? Out of all 5 of these options, these are probably the 5 best options to sign as your backup center in NBA free agency. Go down in the comments section. Let me know who you want to bring to Boston.